Hi, it's Kate here from the Chiro Tree. Today I put this video together to show you how to do one of my favorite things, which is using a foam roller. So with the exercises or stretches I'm going to show you, you can either do this on a full roller, which is what I've got here, or you'll be able to adapt it on a half roller as well. So I probably roll every 2 to 3 days. Just a really nice way to get some extra mobility and to release some of the tension in some of the muscles as they're building up over time. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the roller on the lower half of the body, and then we'll go over some top half body exercises you can do as well. So probably one of everyone's favorite ones and easiest ones to start with is rolling out the hamstrings. And you're just going to be going backwards and forwards like this. And it's pretty much the way I think about it, as if you're rolling out dough with a rolling pin, and that's how I want you to think about it when you're rolling out your muscles. So you can either choose to stay in the one spot and move backwards and forwards, or some people like to target different parts of the muscle as well and move backwards and forwards in a smaller area. There's no really right or wrong way to use the roller. It's just what works best for you, what you feel is going to get the best release. And in some muscles you might feel a longer roll, and in other muscles a shorter roll is going to do the trick. So now that we've gone ahead and released the hamstrings, I'm going to pop over onto my side. I'm going to be releasing the IT band, the iliotibial band, and what we're going to do is pop down onto an elbow. And same thing, I'm going to get you to roll out on the side here. Now, this muscle particular is quite tender on most people, so perhaps going a bit slower might be a bit nicer thing to do. You can either choose to have your full body weight on. Some people like to put a foot and a hand down just to take the edge off a bit there. And the same thing, you're going to move up and down the muscle. In this particular muscle, you want to focus around the hip, up near where it attaches. That usually can be quite tender. You'll get to the belly of the muscle, and then also it attaches down near the knee. So I don't recommend you roll over the knee joint per se, but you can certainly roll just above it, just to start releasing some of those tendon attachments, which will definitely be tight on most people. Cool. Then you're just going to move around the roller. So next we're going to get the quadricep. So you can, again, just rolling out the muscle. Some people like to do one leg at a time. I don't have a preference. So again, I would go with whatever suits best for yourself. And when it comes to the quadriceps, you want to move on different angles. There are different muscles that make up the quadriceps, as with most muscles. So you kind of just angle around and you'll feel those tight and taut spots. And they're the ones you sort of want to be rolling into. And then you're going to start to focus on the other side of the leg, and you're just moving around just like so until you come across onto the opposite side. IT band, I should probably say. Beautiful. Now, however long you stay rolling, again, is up to you. I usually say at least a minute if you can. If you're new to rolling, maybe you want to start 30 seconds. If you've been doing it for a while, you might spend a few minutes per muscle. Again, just depends how much time you have and what your pain threshold is. So go ahead and rolling out all those muscles. Next, we're going to move onto the glutes. So the butt cheeks. I like to start just moving backwards and forwards on the tailbone. A lot of ligament attachments there, so this is quite a nice release, just to gently get some movement and tension off there. And then same thing, I'm just going to roll around through different parts of the muscle, maybe shorter and sharper. Doesn't have as much of length in the belly, but it's certainly a tight muscle that you can get a lot of release through the roller. I like to go up near the top of the glutes, also around the hip where it's attaching, and I just roll onto the side. And in that side, you're also going to be getting some of that IT band as well. Moving around the glutes, of course, you'll go over and do the other cheek as well. And then my last exercise on the lower half of the body that I really love to do with the roller is the front of the shins. This is probably one of my favorite ones. you're going to kneel on the roller, hands on the ground for support, and you just move backwards and forwards like this. Now, this is probably a muscle that not a lot of us think about, but it does tend to get really tight, so it is actually a really nice muscle to release along the way. I'm just here below the knees, and then I roll all the way down as well, just above the ankles, and moving up and down that muscle there. So go ahead and give all those muscles in the lower half of the body a really good release. And what I'm going to do is also show you a couple of things, some of my favorite things to do for the top half of the body. So an oldie but a goodie is just some mobility release in the top part of the spine. So some people might just choose to lay and then eventually move back a little bit at a time. You might support your head, okay? And this sort of, I guess, isometric hold is just getting the body used to a different position, because a lot of us like to sit, especially forward at a desk. So it's actually quite nice to just hang on the roller like this. If you're new to it, again, I would start small, because those muscles might be quite tight, but as you get used to it, some people just hang here for a few minutes, and you can even put a pillow under your head. So that's a really nice exercise to do if you're finding you're hunching forward. Another good one to do is hands behind the head, and you're just going to be slowly up and down like this. And what you can do is actually move up and down on the roller and get different parts of the spine for that thoracic or upper back. Beautiful. Just nice, short, sharp movements. The higher you go up, you'll find you have a little bit more flexibility, so you can use that. You shouldn't be doing it so it's excruciating or it's painful or anything like that, but just so you feel a nice release in the tension. So essentially, if these are the bones in my skull, you're kind of just aiming to get some movement sort of like that through the joints there, and that's a really nice way to do that. You can then move and focus on some of these muscles here around the shoulder and the upper back, attaching into those tight. You'll feel that sort of chunky muscle sitting under the arm. So a nice way to release that is just to come down here on the side, and you can, again, just moving up and down with the roller like this. Okay, you can go a bit more. Sometimes little muscles on the ribs can be a bit tender as well. If you can withhold that pressure with the roller, it can be a bit tender to do, so only do it if you're comfortable enough. Otherwise, you're just sort of moving up and down, again, releasing those muscles. Or another nice way to do it is you'll just angle that roller down, hands behind the head, and you're just going to be opening up like a book, and then closing those elbows together, and you'll feel the roller moving across different fibers in the muscles. You might move that roller down into different angles. So again, all muscles run in different ways. So sometimes one angle on the roller isn't going to cut it. So if you want to just hit different ways, different parts of the muscles and where the fibers are running, just move the roller around so you can sort of, get a bit more of a wider spread of a release there. Cool. Last one I'm going to show you to do is one of my favorite ones to do for my neck if I'm getting some tension there. So right here at the base of the skull, a lot of us can get quite tight, particularly if we sit at a computer and our head goes forward and pulls at the neck there. If you suffer from headaches, I guarantee that part will also probably nice and tight. And this is a bit more of a gentler one, but you're essentially going to be laying down. I've got my skull rested onto the roller there, and I'm just going to be turning my head, rotating it left and right, and it's like I'm massaging those little muscles at the base of my skull. And I might move slightly down on the roller and just target different parts of the muscles there. Some people also like to do a bit of a yes and no. I do recommend you have the roller high enough so it's more on the skull as opposed to the neck, because this will be probably quite tender and irritating to do. But that's just a really nice release to do right there. I wouldn't recommend you fall asleep or anything on the roller like this with your head forward, but you can certainly lay here for a minute or two and just release those muscles. So go ahead and give that a go. Like I said, any size roller you'll be able to adapt. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Otherwise, have fun and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.